Good morning. I had something show up last night in the mail, and I did take one out. I couldn't wait. I got two of these SQ8 little micro cameras, and gotta say I'm kind of impressed so far with them. I weighed the camera because it was heavier than I thought. The case is made out of metal, and I'm sure that's for heat dissipation. But I weighed it, and the camera weighs 25 grams, so nearly an ounce at 25 grams. Anyway, does not come with an SD card, so I purchased an SD card. I actually purchased a 2-pack SD card. They're PNY 16 gigabyte class 10 micro SD cards, and I got those from Walmart. They were, I think it was 16 bucks for two, so around 8 bucks a piece. And the camera I picked up from Gearbest, and I think they were 12 bucks or 13 bucks or something like that. So really inexpensively. And the point of this is, this camera is supposed to shoot 1080p video at 15 frames per second, or it shoots 720p at 30 frames per second. And I'll probably spend most of my time on 720p 30 frames a second, because I'm sure that this will be kind of too choppy to be very enjoyable, and I don't think we need that kind of resolution anyway with the stuff that I want to do with it. The things that I want to do is I want to put it on, I want to do a pan and tilt system for it, and I want to put it in place of the head on my radio controlled skydivers, and see if we can make some really cool video out of it. So the other thing is I want to put these on a bunch of micros and see what we get, shot wise. I did take some tape last night, and green tape, just because I know this stuff doesn't stick forever, and I stuck it onto an ultra micro radian, and it was actually very breezy. It was more than breezy, probably a little bit windy. The airplane was just barely sitting in the sky a few times, and adding a whole ounce of weight to it, it didn't seem to bother it at all. It just went faster. So I even shut the motor off when it hit a thermal at one point and was still climbing. So I was actually very happy with its performance, and I thought the video turned out really fabulous. I'll try and upload some of that video. I may have lost the video because I pulled it into Sony Vegas, and I don't think that I saved it as a draft properly. So I think I might have lost that video. I'll probably have to redo it. Anyway, so far I'm quite impressed with the camera. I think that the case could be ditched, and maybe a smaller case, maybe 3D printed. But you're gonna still want to mount at least some part of it. Is gonna whatever is trying to dissipate heat is going to need to have a heat sink on it. Otherwise, I'm sure the camera won't last. So but I'm still pretty sure that I can find out what needs to dissipate heat just by looking at it, or starting it up when it's when it's naked with no case on. Once I start it up, then you can find out what has all the heat, and then maybe thermopaste a little heat sink that can be tied into it, and that could be tied into the mount or something like that, so it can dissipate that heat. But I'm pretty sure I could make this drop down to about 10 grams, and for the capability that the camera has, look, I'm not looking for 1080p 60 frames a second. I wish, but I need the size, form, and function of this right now, and so I'm quite happy so far with that. Okay, so this is how it comes. I picked these cameras up from Gearbest, and I believe they were $12.99 or $13.99 or something like that, but literally just really inexpensive. When I saw the price on them, I thought, you know what, I don't have an excuse to not try this camera now. I had read a bunch of reviews and looked at a bunch of YouTube videos to see what people thought of it, and there was mixed reviews. Some people said it didn't last very long, and I'm sure it doesn't last very long if you are abusing it. I know that it heats up quite a bit when it's plugged in. That it's so small. What does it do with the heat? I mean, the GoPro Hero 3 Plus Black that I use also, that camera heats up too. So it's dissipating heat through the aluminum parts on its body. So anyway, I mean, it happens. That's just life. So anyway, the camera SQ8 says that it can do 1080p 15 frames per second, 720p 30 frames a second. And from what I got out of it, I got 1080p. When I uploaded it into Sony Vegas, it showed 1080p, but it showed 10 frames a second. And I'm pretty sure I got a fast enough card that we gave the camera every opportunity that it could to produce. So it probably is more like that. And the 720p did come in at 30 frames a second. And actually, both footages looked pretty good. I think that the 10 frames a second, the 1080p that came in, was kind of a little bit choppy looking, but that's what happens. That's natural. So I'll probably run it at 720p, 30 frames a second. I think that's probably the best video for this little thing to shoot. Anyway, they say that it's supposed to run about 100 minutes. I figure if you get an hour out of it, then you're great. And that's the whole reason I did a 16 gigabyte card. I don't see any reason to do a 32 gigabyte card because the battery's not going to last a 32 gigabyte card. I think a 16 is probably just about perfectly the length of the battery. So that's the reason I went with that. Alright, so this is what comes in the box. Little instruction manual, which I actually was fairly confused with when I first started reading through it, but it's actually really easy. It's actually really easy to operate, and it took me a few minutes to figure it out. But I think that the instruction manual gives you a really good start. But it's really easy. You push and you hold down. There you go, the power button, and then it initializes and comes up to this blue button, and this is ready to be told what to do next. If you just hit the button again, it will shoot 720p 30 frames per second video. Okay, but you can change it to go right there to 1080p video, and the red and blue light are both on, and then to start that video you just push the button and it starts, and it'll flash 3 times and then go off. Now it's shooting 1080p video right now. To stop it, you push the power button again. Okay, now it's stopped. Now it's back in that 1080p mode. You can then change the mode again if you want. You can go to the red, but the red light is showing that it's ready to take a picture, a 1080p picture. And you can take a picture by hitting the button. And it goes off for a second, takes the picture, and then comes back on. It's ready to go again. So you can change it now to 720p by hitting the mode button. Now when the blue light is just the blue light, it's now in 720p video mode. You push the button and you start the video. It flashes 3 times and goes off. It is now shooting 720p at 30 frames per second. And I actually like the video from it. It looks really good, especially from a little... I can't believe that it could be this good because it's from this little teeny tiny lens. Alright. Then you turn off that video and it goes back to the mode, so you can cycle back through the modes again, just like that. Now to turn it off, you push the button and hold it down, and then it'll cycle through all the lights and then off. There it goes. Okay. Alright, so it's off now. Whoops. Alright, so we'll just set that camera aside. So this is what comes in the box. There's a mount, and this mount looks like this. Little clip can just grab hold of it like that. It's pretty secure. And then there's 2 little clips on the bottom here, and they go on the bottom like this, and then they snap in the top like that. And it's pretty secure. I'm impressed. It doesn't go anywhere. You can rotate it like that, and anyway, we'll see how it goes in the car. I'll probably shoot a little video in the car just to see what happens. It comes with a DV cable. This side is the connector side for the camera, right there, and then there's a USB on the other end, and then a DV out right here for plugging into a TV, which is pretty cool. The way I've seen on the internet, the only way to really set the time is to put it on the TV and go through the menus on the TV. And then last of all, the camera is in the front, just like this. And I thought it was packaged fairly well. I'm pretty happy with it. So anyway, we'll upload some video showing the video that it shoots soon. Tomorrow we'll probably be doing some practice videos and stuff, practice flying for the President's Day flying, which is next weekend. So we'll drop the skydiver with the flag again next weekend, and hopefully we get a whole bunch of footage for that. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and if you have any questions, just throw them my way. Thanks a lot, you guys. Have a great day.